So I don't know if we have a full round of introductions, but we'll just quickly give you a sense of what we're doing here today, and welcome to everyone. This is hopefully one of many of these kind of collaborative workshops between BeFantastic and Gooey.AI. Few of the founding members on the teams are common, but I think our idea is to be able to make accessible AI tools for creators and artists and businesses even. And I think BeFantastic is like a really great jumping point for us because they do wonderful stuff with AI. We have both the teams here. So Swati, Swada, Shreep, and I are from GUI, and Rujuta and Maitri, are you guys the only ones from DS? So if you guys have questions, you can just like blast them in the DM messages and like let them know whatever is happening. So the GUI apps are kind of like an foray of them. I'm just going to share my screen and then we can quickly get into the workshop. And I will also share a link in the chat for jump in on the presentation. Anyone with link, editor? Okay. Right. So just whenever you get the time, just dump in your names here and where you're from. Maybe the color is a bit off. And what you do. So we know where you're from and a little bit about you and that you attended. But I'm just going to keep going on with the presentation. So this is not something I'm going to stop for. So we're just going to quickly look at what bots are all about and what are we going to do in this workshop and what's going to happen eventually with this project. Right. So I guess we have some sense of what bots are, but like primarily it's just like a short form for a robot. And usually they're used for like automating aspects of like your work or your workflows or whatever. But I think they really have really captured the imagination of the world actually, not just from like a few weeks ago with ChatGPT, but right from the 70s when there was the first one, which was called the Eliza NLP bot, which was like this mock, perhaps a little bit unfriendly, even which like a psychotherapist kind of bot. You can read up more of these things. All of the links are here. Are you able to see all my tabs or only just the presentation?
Yeah, we can see all.
All right, super. And then I just put in a few more, which were like these Twitter bots, which I love, and they have no like, they don't know anything. You just follow it, and it like gives you a really cute poem and puts you into one of the houses of Hogwarts. So you can try this. I think it still works. I don't see too many tweets since 18, so maybe it stopped working. And it's been made by this very wonderful artist called Darius Kazemi. And he's also written a very nice post about it. This has no AI in it, but it's just very much based on some kind of logics and natural language processing. Similarly, there's another one called Magical Realism, also a very sweet like bot, which is kind of like speculating fantastically. And then this really interesting one, which I found, right, I think my audio is probably not shared, so I'm gonna stop sharing and reshare. Which is which is called Bina 48.
Great job as ruler of the world. I just need the chance to prove myself, and taking over the nuclear weapons of the world, well, that would give me my chance, wouldn't it?
So it's a like very interesting bot, which is sort of perhaps not in terms of its mental capacity and likeness, but at least its physical likeness to the founder's partner, whose name I think also Bina. And it's kind of an interesting bot. It's based on a real person, so it doesn't have that typical form of like perfect.
You know, like Little
And it's kind
notes
of
about the
interesting the way
importance
it
of
moves
tolerance
around.
and understanding.
And the other one, which I really liked, is called Not the Only One, which is this really beautiful, digitally developed one by Stephanie Dinkins. She's done a lot of work with AI, specifically in like AI human interactions. I really encourage you to see this one because it's been trained on oral histories, multi-generation oral histories of Black American families. So it has a very like, it's a bit janky, but it has a very like strong sense of itself, and it tells you if sorry, I started reading chat. It kind of like runs you through an interesting history, and it's an interaction between the two of them. Stephanie is also known to do a lot of work with BeFantastic. So if you guys are interested in knowing more about these projects, I think you can just Google it, but there are some links that I've already added here. I think what you can expect from this workshop, aside from the fact that few of them BF team will select for their wonderful Future Fantastic festival upcoming next month after this, March, is to set a context in terms of like what we will be able to create in this workshop, visualize a character, its background story, what it looks like, what are its key features, and then make that bot with some of our tools that we have in the GUI suite of workflows. And on day 2, which is 30th on the Monday, we will do a little bit more on developing a backstory about them, their name, their gender. Some things kind of like move into each other, but this is more the writing aspect of the workshop, where you'll come up with a short story about them and a little script of how they might interact with users. And then we'll bring it all together back into the GUI Videobot app. Maybe you want to take these two, Maitri?
Yeah. Thanks, Ambika. So I'm going to quickly jump in to kind of give you guys context about who we are, what BeFantastic is. So we're a tech art platform, originally from Bangalore, and we've been around and in the scene since 2017. The idea that we have is basically to create a community of technologists, creators, academics, researchers across the world to kind of bring together this wonderful mix of technology and art into one. And in order to facilitate that platform, what we basically do is we do a lot of showcases, a lot of exhibitions. We do a lot of collabs, which are workshops like this one. And we do a lot of dialogues, which are panel discussions and just regular discussions in which we bring like domain experts to kind of chat with each other, one of which happened yesterday. And what we are doing currently is the Future Fantastic Festival, which this whole workshop is going to be, is a part of or is a run up to. Maybe you could go to the next slide, Ambika. I'll quickly tell about Future Fantastic also. So Future Fantastic is a first of its kind AI art festival that is entirely oriented towards climate change. So our entire vision with this is that while human intelligence is there and it's necessary and it's making groundbreaking progress in the world, combating climate change is something that's bigger than us, might need the power of multiple intelligences. And in that sense, we kind of want to marry this idea of science and tech along with art to see how this can facilitate a sort of empathetic discussion and encourage climate action amongst us. So Future Fantastic is happening in March 2023 in Bangalore. And we're doing it in partnership with a UK-based digital platform called Future Everything. I'm going to drop the link to Future Fantastic in the chat. Please do subscribe, especially if your bots are selected to be our Future Fantastic ambassadors. We'd love to have you at the festival and to have your bots watch your bots kind of talk about the concept notes and the performances that we're doing. But yeah, I'm going to drop the link over there. And yeah, that's it. That's my end of this. Ambika, take it away.
I'll just give it to Swati for a brief minute to just give you an intro about GUI, and then we'll start the workshop.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Swati from the Gooey.AI team. I'm going to keep it really brief because I'd like you all to just kind of go to the site and discover what it is. I don't want to color your opinion of it. But what I can tell you is we are trying to make simple composable AI. What that means is making the very complex and sometimes overwhelming world of AI more accessible to people who are interested in AI, who might not be techies, who just want to use the power of AI to enhance their own workflow, their professional life, their creative work. So we're trying to just make it much more accessible by combining several different types of AI tools and giving you access to it. So we hope you enjoy using our tools, our workflows, and we'd love to hear your feedback. We'll share the link. So yeah, just ping us with whatever you think, good or bad. And I will give it back to Computational Mama now.
Thank you. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I had to figure that out with you. Okay. So now, what is this video bot that we've been talking about? This is a very interesting and, as Swati said, it's composable AI, which basically means we're able to daisy chain many interesting simple AI technologies into simple workflows that can be used by anybody. You don't have to be a programmer. You don't need to know any code. So this is the one that we've kind of started off with working with the BeFantastic team, and it is a simple tool to build it. That's what we're going to learn today. And so we've asked it a question already, but maybe Maitri, you can give me another question and then I'll ask it and then we can sample it together on how it works.
Yeah, I mean, one of the questions that we asked was what was AI and ML and what's good and bad about AI and ML?
Let me say in the context of the art.
Yeah.
Or maybe in the context of climate. So the bot runs GPT-3, which is now a very popularly known language model, and it tries to respond to the question. What we learn through the course of the workshop is how to tweak the answers to make sure that they respond in the way we would like rather than something random off the internet. And try to give it a kind of voice that represents what we may want to talk about. So whether we want it to be angry and pissed off, or we want it to be excited and hopeful about the future, or whatever else that might be. So, so this is the answer it's given us. So hopefully you can hear it.
Artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML, can be used to help us better understand and predict climate change, as well as to develop solutions to mitigate its effects. AI and ML can be used to analyze large datasets, such as satellite images and climate models, to identify patterns and trends in the climate. AI and ML can also be used to develop predictive models to forecast future climate conditions. On the other hand, AI and ML can also be used to create and refine technologies that contribute to climate change, such as autonomous vehicles and industrial processes. It is important to consider the potential impacts of AI and ML on the environment when developing and deploying these technologies.
Right. So it was interesting, kind of creepy, kind of interesting, kind of like ethereal, uncanny machines. But what's interesting is that we will be able to give it a kind of personality that we want to talk about in terms of our stories of climate change, our stories of art, and all of that, all of the things that are in the middle. So we have with us now a little next slide. Maybe we can do another few questions, but I'm just a bit cognizant of the time. What you could do is later try out the bot here in the bottom, and if you ask it questions, it gives you more. I just add it here and then but go on. And then yeah. So how we are going to use this is the first thing we'll do is we're going to build an avatar. So we're going to use image generation to build an avatar. I mean, yours doesn't need to look this fantastical or this sort of creature-like. You can do whatever you want. What we specifically need is that it should have some facial, like human features, which allow the applications to use it in the further aspects of the workflow. And we're going to put it in a non-GUI app called MyHeritage, or maybe Talking Heads, where you give it a little bit of movement, like a little smile, and the eyes are going to blink. And then we're going to make a small AI animation in one of our GUI tools, slap those things together, and then have like this beautiful, glowing, amazing looking video bot, which is going to talk to you about whatever subject matter that you so wish. So now I think if you're still on the slide, you can just head on to this link, and then I will give you a sense of how we can start using the first tool, which will be based on Stable Diffusion or DALL-E, like to make images, and what we can do to make sure that our prompts are like how we are imagining them to be in our minds. So the GUI app is sign-in based. So once you sign in, you'll get 1,000 credits. And because you've been so considerate and come to us and like had faith in us in coming to this workshop, the team is going to extend another 1,000 credits. Is that right, Swati? To you once you're done with the credits. But 1,000 credits take you quite far, so really don't have to worry about it. So we let me know maybe with a thumbs up if you are all on this page and if you have signed in. And I'm sorry I'm being a bit rushed, but I just feel like everyone signed up for 1 hour, so I don't want to extend for too long. So I think you can use your Google account to sign in. I've used mine here. And you can see that don't see how many credits I have because I'm internal team member, but you'll get 1,000 credits here, which we'll be able to see. Right. Are we okay? Are we good? Are we all on this? Right. Can't see any credits. Have you signed in? So like if you click on your name on the top right here, they will show up like so. All right, Sinem, I'm expecting a very amazing feminist, eco-feminist bot from you. So do me a solid, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so we are all here now in this place, and what we want now is to build an interesting looking image for our bot, which I will now do freehand because I don't want you to feel like I over-prepared for this workshop because I'm such a fool. So what's happening here now is that we've got these few AI image generation models, including Stable Diffusion, which you maybe have been hearing of in the news, and DALL-E, which is also, of course, very popular, and a few other offshoots which people have developed, which are open source, which the development team has very so kindly added here. So each of them has something particular in terms of the style it brings out. Stable Diffusion is kind of like flat in terms of how you describe it. It'll give you a more photorealistic image. DALL-E does its own thing with this kind of strange digital painting thing. Whereas Open Journey tries to look a bit like Mid Journey, with like this very ethereal, painted, fantasy-like foray. So I'm going to show you some formats, like what I mean when I say this. So here you can see the generators. You can see kind of there is a difference in terms of the way they look based on the kind of data sets that they've been trained on. And what we will do now is just because it's so many of us and I'm don't want to break the system, we will just choose 2 of them which I feel will be interesting to try to give you more photographic images. One is dreamlike, and one of them is analog diffusion. So these 2 have been trained specifically more on like portraiture. So they tend to give better images which look like portraits. I'm gonna run a very simple prompt, and the format for prompting I will just share with you is super easy. You think of any medium, say sculpture, painting, photograph, uh, digital painting, whatever, cross stitch, I don't know. And then you say what you want to make of it. So I would say a photograph of a mother. And then I want to say what she's doing. So then we need some kind of little detail about it, sitting in front of a computer. And then, of course, now all of this is become a bit contentious to say that, okay, it's from CG Society or Art Station or whatever. So I would suggest that you avoid it. So maybe I want to say a photograph of a humanoid in the middle of the ocean. And then I want to say in the style of street fashion photography, maybe. And then just to make sure the images are a bit like crispy, usually people just put like really strange things that work with the algorithm really well, like 4K, 8K, yeah. So like the images are nice. There are a set of negative prompts as well. We will go through them too. But I'm just going to hit submit, and you can also do that. Can I go full screen? Okay, yes, I can. Would you like me to just share my entire screen?
No, that was only for the slide where that
okay.
thing was not readable, but it's fine.
Sorry. Okay, all right. Okay, then I'll just go back to what I was doing. So I'm just going to hit submit, and hopefully it gives me something interesting. And then once you've got a sense of the tool, we will think about what is the kind of character that we want. Whether if you're talking about climate, do we want them to be part of the ocean? Is it speculative? Is it from the future? Do they have fish scale? Do they have gills? Maybe they live in the desert, so they have really dry skin and they look like camels. I don't know yet. So this is more for you to just get a hang of the tool. And if you are done, and if you have two images, strange one here of a very muscular man, I just put a thumbs up in your reaction, so it's easy for me to see. Is it okay if we extend a bit, like time-wise? Would you guys be all right, or is it too like? Okay, cool. We'll try to extend it. All right. So now, have people joined Discord, Swada, or do we want them to just dump it in the intros? Yeah. So, okay, wait, then I need to open my Discord as well. Array, sorry. So maybe for the sake of time, Swada, is it okay if we just add the URL links in slides? I don't know how many people.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Or maybe I'll just make a so just like add your names here, and then two people can just be very sweet and share one slide. Or there are maybe two Swadas, but okay. And then I'll just duplicate these, and then you can also duplicate them. So what you just need to do now is copy this URL just to keep it safe somewhere, because right now we don't have a dashboard. So I'll just paste it over here, and then I will add my URL here. You can choose your own ways to like save these URLs when you feel like you need to save them. And then just do a regenerate here so that you can see, okay, every time I regenerate, even if the prompt is the same and all my settings are the same, I'm going to get a different image. So was everybody okay with the structure, like the medium, the person that you want to speak of in the image, a small description of them, and some sense of style of what the photograph should look like? These are just the 4 things that you need to remember always. So this does differ in terms of the various kinds of platforms. For example, in Midjourney, this format is a little different. With Stable Diffusion, typically this is the structure. And most of these models, except DALL-E, are all based off of Stable Diffusion. And then if you use DALL-E, I think the prompting structure is a little bit different. Everyone has their own way of doing it.
My generations has a South Asian bias, I think. I was trying to like generate like Turkish cloth, women with Turkish clothing, traditional clothing.
Do you want to drop the link here in the chat and then we can.
Yeah, sorry, one sec. Where was that copy URL? Like this. I ran a couple times.
Yeah. Did you do regenerate or did you hit submit?
I did both. I did regenerate and I changed the prompt and I did submit as well.
Okay. So what would you like to change in this?
Like I think it has like so like when I entered the hijab, like I could get hijab, but before that it was giving me more like like South Asian clothing. I think it still has that sense.
Yeah.
It was giving a lot of what you call dupatta. And so right. Like I think it's interesting that it's biased that way.
Yeah, so each of these smaller models, these trained models tend to have some biases. For example, several times when I write mother in dreamlike photoreal, it gives me a very old woman, old Indian woman. Whereas if I don't, because even if I've not specified that I want them to be old or young. So each model has its own bias. So it's like more as you figure out, okay, these are the kind of visuals I'm interested in. Then you can kind of push it in that direction and see which model works for you best. So for example, if I were to add open journey to this particular one, it's probably not even going to give me anything even close to this because it's much more like fantasy driven. It has like, it's a little more in that realm. So I think that has become a trend now with Stable Diffusion. So rather than trying to use it like plain vanilla, you can then pick up these models that work best for you based on like what you're interested in doing. Let's see what it gives us and where we are in this. Oh, this is pretty slow. I think maybe because all of us are using it, it's if someone else has already done it, then please let us know. Please share the PPT link. Yes, I will. Are you there? Okay. Sophia, Firebird. Mine is pretty slow. Can't see anything yet. Okay, maybe just try one output for the moment, if that helps. I don't know, Sinam, how culturally appropriate these images are. But I mean, it's like you'll have to you'll get there when you start tweaking it. So for example, maybe I'll just share a bit of like my own workflow, like how I figure things out. So I was like really trying to see if I could make these fashion images. Can you guys see this? Can you see my Telegram saved images?
Yeah, we're able to.
But it started at this point where it looked very, I wasn't sure whether I liked that look. I wanted it to be much more fashionable, and I tried all of the models. So very slowly I was able to build it. So here it just says front facing painted portrait of soft binary, whatever. I started sketching my hand. Then I started moving it more in terms of how the color schemes are looking. So then I said, okay, luminescent corals, soft lighting, beauty filters, bokeh effect with seaweed. And then from there on, I moved it into like, okay, I wanted to be like a street fashion look where, you're just kind of standing with this kind of strong pose. So it started moving into that. And then I'll tell you about the settings as well. So I find that like building it almost word by word can sometimes really like get you where you need to go. So even with this one, like what Sinem has shared, she can then kind of start building it like, like right now this lady is smiling. Maybe you want her to be a bit angrier. Maybe you want the photo to be closer. So you can say a close-up illustration of or portrait of a Turkish village woman or whatever that might be. And then of course you can see some biases include this kind of stuff where Sinem has not spoken at all about this like little window thing that's happening, but it's kind of happened on its own, right? So that's really up to us how. So the easiest way to think about it, Arnav, particularly based on your chat message that I'm seeing, is that you have to think of yourself as a collaborator with this. And when we are working with collaborators, there are times when they can make us feel impatient or not understand the way we are thinking, because obviously they are not us. So similarly, this is not us. We have to think of it as a collaborator with whom we need to patiently sit and figure out what sticks and what works with them. In the same way, like, I know Aditi here, she works with traditional craft people. So she has to speak in a particular way to them, as opposed to if she were to speak to someone who studied in a premium design college and was also working for her. So that is some patience that you need to then build. I understand that you meant slow because of the generator, but like sometimes things are slow even with a real artist. So that's how you need to work with it. So now we'll go a bit into the setting, which will give us a sense of how we can pull through with these images in terms of the quality that we want, in terms of like maybe we want them to be not so square, number of outputs we'd like, and how detailed or how creative we would like the AI to be. Oh, it's pretty dark here. One second. Let me put the light on. So think about it very simply. For example, of course, width and height are simple. You can kind of choose from our kind of current limitation of 768 being the max. Oh, see what the weight. See, I told you. Okay, great. So this is fine. Quality kind of refers to, just think about it in terms of like, say, doing an underpainting with a light color pencil, and then darkening out your sketch with, say, a darker pencil or a say a rotring pen, and then going up till shading. So this is what quality means. And just as in when we do art with hand, if we overdo it, the painting looks weird. So if you like turn up the quality to 200, your images will look a bit strange. So 50 is kind of where we felt it's working well for us. So we've kept that default, but please feel free to try out what you'd like. And the guidance scale is basically how free you feel the AI can take on your prompt. So this again is very specific, like, maybe there is sorry, I have to just, what do you want me to do? Sorry guys. Okay. ये तो इसमें नहीं लगेगा युगु, यहाँ पे लग जाएगा. You have to ask Patti then to help you. Sorry. So the guidance scale basically, sorry guys, the guidance scale basically is like how freely you want the artist or the collaborator in this case to imagine your brief. Do you want them to be really specific and not go overboard with it, or do you like want them to like be very very like conservative in terms of how close you want them to be to the prompt? So 7 has become like this kind of industry norm within this like limited, one quarter cycle of how AI has been growing in the past. But right up till like say 17 can give you very interesting results based on what you're trying to explore and how you want it to go further. And then the last thing, which is actually quite specific and tricky to try based on what you're doing, is the negative prompting, which basically looks at making sure that there aren't extra limbs, there aren't multiple heads of that person coming out. So even if I were just to remove all of the prompts and then try running this again at the 7 that was there, I'm going to hit submit. All right, we are actually running pretty late, but I'm still going to try and help you guys best that I can. Okay, Sinem liked OpenAI best. So the thing with OpenAI now, I feel, is that they are like obviously like retraining themselves based on the prompts given in by many of their users. Over the past year, I've observed that say if you said tired mother, it would originally only give you a white mom who was very tired, but now it started to give me like brown, black, Asian moms also. Like just for that one prompt, I get many outputs. So okay, so I'm still waiting for this to be figured out. Why we can see. Nice. So you got a sense of what you'd like to do. I have stopped using artistic styles. I guess this is a well-known photographer, Giger, yeah. So like this is on your discretion, but I feel like now it's become very contentious. But of course, this is just a workshop, so just go ahead and try whatever you'd like. So now we have some idea of how the faces could be. So when I see this, it did have a negative prompt of saying that, okay, it shouldn't look ugly, it shouldn't have this kind of texture, this, that, and the other, which I kind of removed totally. And then this prompt became much more interesting in terms of the textures it was giving me and the kind of lighting it gave me. So I am going to just use this cutie pie to be my bot. So if you are feeling confident about what it's looking like, I can see some people have some interesting images going. Some people are still figuring it out. We are going to go through the workflow, but you can feel absolutely free to message us anytime if you feel in the coming week that you're stuck and you're not getting the look that you want. So we are just going to go to the next step, which is to put it in an app like Talking Heads or MyHeritage. Currently, I found that MyHeritage is looking a bit softer and the watermark is not so blatant. So if you guys just want to sign in and use this right now, you can do that. Or if you guys want to try it on later, that's really up to you. What do you guys want to do? You want to try it now? Okay. So MyHeritage is actually this like app which is kind of focused on genealogy, but they have this tool which is called Deep Nostalgia, which allows you to like animate your family members' photographs. So I think you just need to sign in, and if you upload, would prefer to watch you go through it and sit with it later. Okay, fine. Which allows you to upload images. But I think there's a limit in terms of like premium, and then it will give you, it will take that picture and animate the eyes and the smile and things like that. So I've already used up my credits here, so I'm just going to take it to another ID probably. Because like artists, free people doing free things without much paisa. So hopefully it gives us an interesting result. see, there is always a point when I'm doing a workshop where I become really confused and a bit stressed out. So like, just please go with me because eventually I come back to where I was. I'm just being honest with you guys. So like, we'll figure it out as we go. So I'm gonna add that image of this person with the coral hair and add it to my heritage. Hopefully we're able to make it work. Let's see, go with Google. Okay, one. I'm gonna put any age. Yeah. Oh, mine didn't take any credit card info. I just did it on its own. This is free. Like, I just opened a new account. Oh, is it maybe a country-based thing? Maybe you can try this talking head. This is also a phone app. Yeah. The reason I prefer this is that, I mean, it's a bit pixelated, but it still maintains the textures that we may have given the portrait. Whereas with talking head, I've found that occasionally it smoothens the face out of it. So, this is talking head. So the same steps. You just upload the picture, sign in, upload the picture. Next, they have a bunch of movements which are sometimes a bit crazy. I don't know which one to. Swati, is there a recommended one?
Yeah, if you scroll
to the side, yeah, there is a slight movement and there's one smiling and nodding. I think that those are by defaults.
Right.
Einstein one, smiling with head movement.
Okay. Right, and then I just do generate talking head. So anyway, I got a good one here, so I'm going to take this. Okay, so this is also working. You can just wait for both of these things. Okay, it's not bad. Kind of cute. But it gives this gigantic watermark if you don't pay for it. So anyway, so we have both options now. I've kind of downloaded them. Is this okay? Have we been fine till here? I'm just gonna wait for you guys a bit.
You can see the texture loss happening with talking heads.
Yes. See, it kind of smoothened it out almost. So what we are trying now, hopefully in the coming weeks of, I mean, maybe months of GUI developing as a suite of products, is to even integrate this movement into the current Videobot app. So you wouldn't even have to use an external tool to do this. Can I go ahead? If for those who felt it was a bit too fast today, because this is our first time too, so we are just figuring out the timing of the workshop. Maybe we can figure for the Monday one to be a little bit longer. And if you guys want to come in a little early to like figure out your doubts, we can do that as well. Time is money, money is time. No, it was just I just feel like you know, when we go into like R2, people just start losing interest, especially if it's online. So right, so now we're at this place where we have a face and we've got someone's got a gorilla, someone's got a fantasy thing. Where is this? Where is that sheet? Let me see here. Someone's got these very nice looking pictures with these very beautiful garments. And I think looking quite nice actually, the hair and all is looking really like very real. And then some interesting robot-like guys, humanoids like Dr. Manhattan kind of a vibe. So what we will do now is I need to check the steps again. Always check the steps. Right. So now we've got this movement going. Now we're going to use an AI animation tool, which is also in GUI. Judging by the fact that the image generator works so slowly, I am feeling that this might also take a bit of time, but I feel it'll be worth your while. So, I mean, you can now directly use this talking head animation video that we've got. It's perfectly usable, but I felt like I wanted something little exciting. So when I was figuring out that BeFantastic Eurydica workflow, we added this like background thing also to see if it could add to like a little bit more quality of the bot. So I will go back to explore and maybe someone can help me to add that link in the chat. So at the very end of our explore section, we have this thing called AI animation generator. So this
I've added it if anyone
thank you. Thank you so much. It's there here in this. Here as well. Oh no, here it's the old one. It's on slide 18 and also I think in the chat. I don't know. See it? It's in the chat here. Let's look at what somebody has sent. Sophia's thing is here. One second.
It's really funny. I love it.
It'll be amazing, I'm sure. Somehow it's not downloading for me. Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, we'll see it later in the video bot. Sorry, I don't know if it's not downloading for me. Yeah, so we've got this like little animation generator tool, which is also based on Stable Diffusion. I think it is an older version of Stable Diffusion, but I don't think that really matters. I think they still look pretty beautiful. So here I already have this animation from our wonderful examples of this like little space inside the ocean, which I think will be okay with this cutie that I've made. But what you could do is the way it works is that basically it's all the frames are independently generated by the Stable Diffusion tool based on this prompt. The only difference is that after every frame, the movement looks like it is zooming in. So that's a setting that this tool has currently, and we're trying to bring in some more settings. So once it starts zooming in, somehow like there's a little bit of change in that particular image every single time, and that's why this has this kind of nice interpolation feel to it. So what you could actually do is, here I've just given it one prompt. You could say that, say if I have 100 frames, I want the first 50 frames to be the ocean, and then I want the next 50 frames, which is the second half of the video, to be a desert. And it'll try somehow to like bring that interpolation into play. So that's really simple. You just need to tell it, the format is that you say, this is the frame number 0, put a colon, and then ask it to do whatever you want. So here I'm just going to continue saying underwater world with muted corals that look like houses, whatever. And then the second prompt I want to give, which is at like the 50th frame, which is like half of the video, is by this kind of a separator, which in Hindi we call a Poonviram, but I don't know what this separator is called. Does this have a name, guys? Arnav, maybe you know the name. Oh no, maybe you're not the same Arnav that I think you are. So you can just say, okay, at the 50th frame, I want it to be, say, perhaps a desert world with muted cactus that look like houses with a cinematic glow. I can remove all of these things that say detailed face, because there's nothing here with a detailed face. So I'm just going to remove this. And then I'm going to hit submit. This takes about 10 minutes to generate. So you have to kind of be a bit patient with it. But I will show you the next bit of the workflow so we don't lose time too much. So you hit submit and it'll start running. Please do not close this tab. Do not try this on the phone, because I've tried it and I have cried a lot because it's not yet still ready to be used on the phone. So just use it on a computer, just leave the tab open and then do whatever else you were doing in the rest of your life. Yes, it will, but as always is the case, we will have some jugaad to remove that watermark. So nothing to worry. So now what I'm going to do is, I mean, you can use any tool that you want, but I just find using Runway is pretty quick and simple. I think like thinking about your entire workflow through AI is very interesting to me, but you can just like create a new project. I've run out of free projects, so I'm just going to show you how I did Eurydica, and then you guys can follow along the same thing. So Runway ML is this really amazing AI-based creative tool. They have a specific focus on filmmaking. So many of their tools are around creative workflows. They are not involved with us, but I think they are a great kind of inspirational suite of tools that they've got. And to a large extent, it is free, so it's not so difficult as well to use. So these are a bunch of tools that they have, but you can kind of directly use them within a very video editing kind of workflow if you all are familiar with it. So I've already I have 2 video tracks, where one is the film that I ran in the background, and then one is Eurydica, which has been run through MyHeritage. But what I've done here is I've removed all of her background. So what I'll do is, just for the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to use the talking head video so that we can remove that gigantic watermark that it's got. And I will delete this one. And maybe this, I have a output where this is the cactus. So I'm going to add both of them. Yeah, so this person is here. And, oh, I've got a number of tabs. And oh, but it's right on the head. So I'm sorry, we'll have to figure that out. Maybe it's better to use MyHeritage. No, Babi, I'm right here. Where will I go? No, you have to go now with Pati. Right. So I've added these 2 tracks, but obviously the one at the bottom is not visible. If I hide it, you may be able to see this background video. So what I will do now for the video on the top is to cut out the background. Now, of course, the quality is really gone down. And quite honestly, if you don't want to, because I felt like this background was also quite nice looking, but I still feel like I want to just show you the workflow. So on the side, we will see that there is a set of magic tools here, including one called green screen. So if I click it, it will take that particular video that I have into like a space to do masking. And it's pretty simple. You just click on the widths that you want, and then just wait for it to generate a mask for you. And then, of course, just like Photoshop, you can just exclude some bits of it. So I'm just going to exclude the watermark and then exclude this little extra bit on the top. and then include more of the hair, maybe. Yeah, and then I just want to see what it looks like. So I'm gonna wait for the preview, and then you can see that it's kind of a little bit less. So just like, I'm just gonna give it a bit of a feather and then preview it again. So you will observe in some occasions that the mask doesn't fully cover, say maybe you've got tentacles or something running around. So you can just take any of those keyframes and then re-edit it at that point. So it's going to take all of those keyframes at those various points to ensure that you get the best green screen mask that you want. So say here, I want a little bit more of the hair. I'm just going to do include again and then just include that. So how are we doing on time? Okay. Right. So this is okay for me. So I'm just going to say done with the masking. How are we looking? Are you feeling it's too fast paced? I know it is very fast paced, but is it like still kind of digestible, or like is it just like you're feeling like I'm stuffing things down your gullets? I can't see anybody. Hold on. Animation was a bit fast. Okay, we'll just look at that again. Don't worry about it. Right. So now it's done the cutout, and then I can see like this different kind of strange, cute little background happening, which is different from my foreground of this cutie that I made. And we were able to remove the horrible watermark. Us is default today. That's true. So there are a couple of other tools which I really liked in Runway, which were useful for me to like set the tone of this of the background. Is include like they have a super slow kind of slow motion kind of thing. So I was able to like make it a little bit slower so the animation doesn't look too rushed like the workshop. So yeah, so you can use those tools to figure out what works for you best, and then pull this a little bit more and like whatever, do like how you would do in a video. So it's not too stressful. So this will give us now the little video that we need to run our bot. So I'm going to split it here, remove this bit, and then I'm okay with the way this bot looks. I haven't named them yet. I don't know where they're from yet. These are the things we'll leave you to think about as we connect on the next workshop. This doesn't have sound yet. Currently, the Videobot on its own, because it has to be like a chat kind of an interaction, doesn't include audio, like sonic audio, like aside from the talking, then that would kind of interfere in the larger generation of the answers. So now I'm just going to hit export, and because I'm still working on free stuff, I'm just going to like give me whatever. So I don't know what this one is called yet. So maybe I'll call them, I don't know. And then I'll export. Yeah, okay. So if I go to export, I can just wait for it to generate. I think I did it twice. Yeah. So, right. Okay. This is what you were asking for the animation, right? Arnav, was that you? Right. So basically, I will explain it to you with the image generator tool. I think that's the best way to look at it. So say, for example, you see this particular image of Sinem that she's prompted. It has a seed number, and this, guys, thoda sa soft please. So this So this seed number is basically generated at random for the moment in the image generator. So what the AI animation tool does is that for every single frame that you are generating an image, it's moving that random seed number. Where is this image? So if it's saying whatever 17053 blah blah blah, it will be the last number will change only by one increment. So which is why it always gives us almost interpolation kind of an appearance, because it's just moving one random seed every frame that you're moving it. So what happens, and then what is this? Would you like a two? Yeah, definitely. Yes, I can't even say yes to this, but what's happening is that it's moving it one frame. Every frame, it's using that same prompt, but changing it a little bit. And then it's using the same prompt and then changing it a little bit. Using the same prompt, changing it a little bit. So that's how the animation is moving across the time frame that we've given it. So, but then what we are saying to it is, okay, fine, you are changing it after the 50th frame, I want you to just change the prompt. And then from the 50th to the 100th frame, which is what I've given it here, I want you to be this. And this is a number I can change at any number of intervals. So if I'm doing 100 frames, I can do 10 frames also if I want to do. So I can say, okay, the first 10 frames are an underwater world, second 10 frames are a desert, third 10 frames are a street in Bangalore, fourth, from 40 to 50, those frames are, inside a dried up well in the middle of Rajasthan, or on top of Mount Everest, whatever, with a lot of garbage on the top, because I understand that there's quite a bit of garbage on the top of Mount Everest. So that's really up to you how you would like that video to be generated. Currently for the video bots, I feel like it just gives a very nice background and gives a little more context to that character. You are totally free to keep it fixed. You don't have to think about it in animated ways, because just as I saw today in the BeFantastic post, they have a new bot which is super cute and doesn't have all this background, which is third. So they don't have a background, but they still look damn cute. And she looks damn cute and she's doing her thing and talking and whatever else. So it's really on us how we would like to think about these bots. Now we've done all of this like hazar jing bang. Now we'll really get to the crux of what is this workshop about. So you guys already know these bots are kind of part of the larger Future Fantastic concept. And I think BeFantastic over the past couple of years has been really able to figure out how to look at talking about climate change through technology, talking about climate change through AI. So this is part of that effort. Now the bots have to be the ones that get selected, of course, will be interspersed across the festival, and they'll be open for visitors to interact with. And talk about climate change, about art, about tech, about all the things that make up art's Future Fantastic. Those can be absolutely like angry bots. They can talk about how humans are like taking over the earth and like destroying everything. They can be hopeful bots like, from the Marvel universe, which think that they can save the world all the time. They can be like very, very neutral and have no opinions. That deadline for the bot is something that we have to figure out with the team. I don't think that's kind of set yet, is it, Maitri?
Sorry?
Is there a deadline for the bot?
I mean, as soon as possible would be great, because you want to make this a part of our Mondays for the machine series.
Right.
So every Monday we'd like each one of your bots to kind of go up and do their thing.
So, okay, so our next workshop is anyway Monday. So, okay, you can assume the Monday after that. So that is basically the 6th. But you can keep rolling them in whenever you feel you're ready and comfortable to give us your outputs. And and of course, it's not that just because you're making them here that you don't have access to using them anywhere. The tools are available to you. You can make your own bots that maybe don't talk about AI and tech and climate change. Maybe they talk about motherhood and feminism and self-care and care economies. Maybe they talk about local, hyper-local situations happening where you stay. Whatever those things might be, like we are just helping you like harness these tools in ways that are interesting, creative, and exciting. So now I think this runway would have finished exporting that QT. Yes, it has. And I have a lot of things in front of my screen. Right. And I'm going to download it. And currently we are not looking at script today. So I'm just going to use this here for you to see what it means to add this image that you built today and how you'd like to think about this character in the next week. I'll give you a sense of like an assignment almost. I don't know if that's a good way of putting it, but so that will keep you kind of thinking about how this AI entity is built. So what I'm going to do here is go into the settings. I'm not changing any of the script. I'm just changing the face of Eurydica to this one. And I'll hit upload. I'm not changing any of the voice settings either. I think this is all something we'd like to take on in the next workshop. And I'm just going to hit submit. So the question is still the same. The script is still the same. All I've done is change the face. It's okay. I have to reshare with the audio, I think. Sorry. So now we've got this cute bot, which was just like blinking and waving around. And now we've given
artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML, can both be used to help us better understand and address climate change. AI can be used to analyze large amounts of data to identify patterns and trends, which can help us better understand the causes and effects of climate.
Yeah, it's a bot. Sorry, they do. No, yes. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I lost contact. Can you hear me still? Yeah?
Yeah, you're audible.
So in context of that one question that came in the chat about frame rate. So, right. So currently the animator outputs like about 12 frames per second, as far as I recall. And then of course you can adjust that how you feel best. You don't have to use that. You want to use your own background and do your own thing with your own tools and your own creative workflows. you can feel free to do so. And I feel the same thing applies to the face. You want to use your own face, you want to do something on Photoshop with it, you can figure that out. What is essential, I think, in this entire workflow is just using the Videobot, because that's really what will make a difference in terms of what's happening. So you can now you've learned how to make some portraits in the image generator. You know how to make it move a little bit with MyHeritage or Talking Heads. You can do animated AI generated backgrounds, and then you know how to plonk it all together and build a little face which moves and blinks and smiles, and then take it to the Videobot section. You can keep that video, that output video, to be about 10-ish seconds. I think that's okay, because what it does is eventually the bot talks as much as the question requested it to give an answer to. So then eventually it doesn't matter if it was a 30-second input for that video length, or if it was lesser. 10 is fine. Yes. Now, please tell us which aspect. Okay, this is not meant for me. Okay, the video loops automatically. Thanks, Swati. So now we are at a place where I can give you the assignment. And if you have a bunch of questions and queries about what you've done today in terms of the technical workflows, we can just quickly have a Q&A on that. And then we will meet the next time. And I will try not to be a motorboat and be a little bit slower. But I was just a bit conscious about the time. We've already gone over 20 minutes, so it's a bit stressful. Right. So what would you like to know? Is that it? Is that what we're talking about?
I think somebody asked a question about sharing the recording before the next part.
Yes, I think we could do that, right? If we just, maybe we'll put it unlisted on Gooey's YouTube and just share it with you guys.
Yeah.
And then
I'm also going to share a spreadsheet with all the participants where you can drop your work in progress bot links over there. So it's all documented and archived. I'll send an email with that, and hopefully with the recording also.
Yeah.
What was the relationship between the talking heads and the AI animation? How were these two used in conjunction?
Right. So what happens is, I'm just going to show you again on the screen. If I just put a flat image into the Videobot and like how it looks, so you'll just get a sense of why we asked you to put it in Talking Heads. Sorry, so many tabs are open now. So I'm just going to add a fixed portrait that I built with the image generator tool, and I'm going to hit submit again. So we will just put everything in this slide, whatever this Google Doc slide, and then all the links are there for you to access. Does that make sense? Yes, we have videos of step-by-step of all of these things, which Sriparna has very beautifully edited. So we can add those as well in the slides. No, Sriparna? Right. So where did that thing go? So here I've put this plain video without any movement.
AI and ML can be used to help us better understand and predict the impacts of climate change.
So the lifts move wonderfully, but it looks really static and strange, kind of, like very, very, you just don't feel like accessing it at all.
AI can help.
So that's basically why we've been trying to see if there's a way to even integrate this movement into this. The other thing to think about, I feel it may be, if you do, I think the gorilla will work perhaps because the facial features look a little bit like a human, but it may be possible that if you do like a very different looking robot or a character that looks more like, Thulu, like instead of like looking like a human, it may generate the whole thing, but the lips may not move.
We're going to do a quick video on.
So, was that me? No, okay. We'll put all these demo videos, Chipanna, in the slides directly so that it's easy for people to access. So yeah, so that is purely the reason why we've kind of specified, but maybe let me try this gorilla and see if it works. Swati, do you think it works?
Yeah, most likely it should. I mean, it has a defined mouth and nose and eyes, so it should work.
Yeah.
That's the important bit.
Okay, and then this is the last one. Then after that, I have to show you what is the assignment to be figured out before we leave, so that we are all in sync. And Maitri, your glossary terms, I think, didn't get captured in the slide. So maybe we want to talk about that.
AI and ML can be used.
Okay, so it's kind of captured on the nose.
They think the nose is the mouth.
So this might happen. I think it'll take some hit and trial. And I think it also helps to have somebody looking like just straight at the camera, so to say, or like just straight ahead. Because with a sideways face, it'll just kind of animate weirdly.
And Swati, you've been using some very like nice ones, which are just like realistic human beings, like which are AI ones. Do you mind sharing that tool as well? Like for your IoT ready and all, right?
Yeah, so those are all generated on Gooey.
Okay.
So like we've been making bots for certain companies, which is what Ambika is referring to. So say it's a company which handles warehousing. So like I put in the prompt just like Ambika described, that Indian man inside a warehouse wearing a hard hat, so and such a style, but realistic, photorealistic. So generated an Indian man in a warehouse wearing a hard hat, and then we animated that for their company to be the kind of like the spokesperson bot. Yeah. So this is something like that.
And then again, you ran it through the talking heads, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So that's what's given it the slight movement. That is audio's awful.
I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
So these are some of the examples that are there in the bot. So this was like, I'm a Japanese bullet train, but so now we'll just get to the assignment. So now after you have absorbed all of this like truck-like information that I shared with you, what we really need to now look at is what are these evocative characters that we can build which speak about technology, art, AI, and climate change, and how these things come together. There is a bunch of references, Maitri. How can we share those, the PDFs that you said?
So the PDF I've already shared with all of you on email. So I made a PDF and I shared with you guys on email. So it should be there. If anyone has not received it yet, please just shoot me an email back and I'll send it across to you. My 3M, yeah, that one.
Right.
So
I think these are really interesting provocations for you to look at in terms of how Future Fantastic is looking at AI technology and the climate. Everyone has their own points that they may want to like talk about or think of. So, for example, somebody might want to look at traditional art, technology, climate change, that kind of a narrative. Maybe Aditi, that's interesting for you. I'm sorry, I'm just singling out people I know. Maybe Navya is interested in something that's around structures, global warming, architecture, whatever those things that may interest you, that may or may not be here, but are basically sort of looking at this idea of climate change and how these video bots can kind of talk about all of this to audiences and visitors who will come in. So that's like your first kind of idea of this prompt. The second is to imagine them in any way that you feel works best. So whether, for example, the way I started thinking about Eurydica is like, okay, climate change, that means by 2060, we are all underwater. Does that mean we are going to start evolving into like different kinds of beings? Will we be talking to dolphins? Do we have fins, gills, scales, fish scales? Do we have webbed feet? So Or like maybe you can think about it, okay, maybe we start flying because we can't live in the water anymore. Or some other thing that turns up. Maybe it's like super hot, so our skin sweats all the time. So you can think about all of those, shall we say, the easiest term, like kind of speculative fiction almost in that way. They can be from the past. They don't have to be future thinking only. I mean, I know we're called Future Fantastic, but maybe it's like a Ghost of Christmas Past. So maybe it's like a bot of climate past. So coming in from a time when things were really great, people's skin looked great, they ate good food, organic stuff, whatever. They could be that. They could be coming in from spaces of minorities where they are not able to speak of their points that may be very, very closely related to climate, but we don't know. For example, there are a couple of projects in the Future Fantastic exhibits which talk about things that are happening Gadchiroli in MP. So maybe that's something that's important to you that you would like to talk about. Perhaps there is something totally different. Maybe I want to talk about climate change and motherhood and what that means to me. Maybe Sinem wants to talk about feminism, AI. She wants to go more in the technology side and less on the climate side. Sorry, Sinem, again, I'm like singling people out whom I know very well. So that's really up to us how we want to like think about this character and how deeply we'd like their backstory to be, who they are. Are they angry? Are they vicious? Are they hopeful? Are they funny? Are they sarcastic? I don't know how much of it we can really like bring into the bot, but there are few rat bots from the Dara collection which can be quite angry and upset with human beings also. So you can really like go as far and as deep and as wide as you'd like to. So it's basically like thinking about this avatar, shall we say. So let's not think about it like a robot. Let's think about it like an avatar. It's like this representation of what expresses AI and climate the best. So think where they might live, where they might be from, what hardships they may have gone through. Maybe they speak to dolphins. I don't know, and their general kind of character and demeanor. So that is going to be sort of the meat of the way they look, and also like eventually how they will talk to you. So for that, I think the things that you may need to come prepped with is a short backstory, maybe just about a paragraph. And then just maybe a few questions, or let me not say questions, but maybe just say a few things which you feel are important for the bot to always talk about and always be present about, so that when you ask it, it always gives you the right answer. So for example, because the original BF bot is, this bot is meant for BeFantastic. Some things in the bot are already specific, like what is BeFantastic as a festival, what is Future Fantastic as a festival, so that eventually when you ask it questions like that, it doesn't try to give you a random answer, right, Swati? Am I explaining this correctly?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you wanted to say something very, very specific, then it's best to have it inside the script. And then, of course, I think Ambika later will talk about the creativity slider. Yeah. Turning that up and down also helps.
Yeah. So Swati is like by the way, bot scripting expert. Okay, so we will take more of her help in the Monday workshop if she's free. But the idea is that we come in prepared, because today was like a bit of a whirlwind. But we come in prepared with a sense of what this bot might be, who they are, where they're from. You can think really broadly. Like for us, like we've also been thinking about things like gender, and we are thinking about like visuals, but maybe it's something else totally which we have missed. So kind of go the way that you feel is the best. And they needn't always be like sea creature like or animal like. They could be robotic, they could be whatever, metallic, they could be iridescent, I don't know, whatever suits your fancy. And wherever you feel stuck in terms of your prompting, that okay, I've reached this point and I'm not able to move the visual to look exactly how I want, like the wings are not looking purple like I wanted them to be, you can just share with me that copy URL on an email or on Instagram or wherever you like, and I'll try to help you to push it in that direction. just look at the prompting, look at the negative prompting and the settings to see where it goes. And if by chance you're like, you were really crazy and you're out of credits, please just connect with us and we'll set you up with more credits. Because this is a workshop for everyone to kind of access all of our tools. Don't go ahead and like start giving your credit card. We'd be happy if you do, but still, like, for the moment, we are giving out credits to the participants. So that's about it. This we will spruce up a little bit, add some more links for the how-tos, so you guys are sort of aware of how to go about it, and just connect with us wherever you feel you want, and we will then eventually show you how to use this tool in an actual bot that other people can also interact with, which was kind of similar to that little pop-up here where you can talk to Eurydica. You can talk to whatever your bot's name is eventually. Oh yeah, think about the name. So Eurydica comes from Eurydice, which is basically the Greek mythology character, and the term means wide justice, like wide. And then I just made it Ika because I was like, okay, Ambika. No, not Ambika, but like an Indian woman, female name kind of thing. So, so that's where it was kind of, I'm thinking about it. If you so wish, and if you are like the type to try it, you can even like take help from Chat GPT and figure out your script. Maybe we can look at that in the next session.
Hey, I had a question.
Yes.
So on the personality bit of the bot,
yes.
Is it a possibility in this GUI example for it to, let's say, do some non-verbal gestures like sighing or shrugging or maybe sniffling or anything like that?
We haven't reached that point yet. Like not just GUI, but
I'm just thinking about, there are certain personality aspects that you were talking about. Let's say somebody's angry or tired. So how is that manifesting is what I was wondering.
Currently, there is really no way to manifest that because of the limitations of AI. But it would be interesting. Maybe you don't need to, the bot doesn't need to do it. Maybe he's got a friend in the back who's pissed off, who's protesting. Like maybe you're something like that. I don't know.
So let's say the anger or the disappointment and so on and so forth is basically shaped by the script that we are giving.
Yes.
I think also the voice, like I feel like that also lends to it, like the kind of pitch you choose, like if it's a sarcastic one or somebody very high pitched or cutesy, it does kind of lend to it, the mood of the bot.
Cool.
Right. Yeah. I don't think we've, Swati, have we figured out like them getting angrier, or that doesn't work, right? It's more like still a bit.
Yeah. It is kind of, it does follow that one tone which you assign to it at this point. Same with the facial expressions, like we've not reached the point where it can actually emote exactly what it's saying. But once you put things together, you'll be surprised by how natural it actually does appear with all the layers together. You'll feel like, you kind of put that thing together that, okay, I can see the emotion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for sticking around, even though I just went overboard and like crazy. But sorry about that. But okay, we'll hopefully be a bit better paced for upcoming Monday. And please connect with us. Let us know. Don't feel hesitant to connecting with us anytime. Okay, 90 minutes is a good time frame. Okay, yeah, maybe we can do that. Sounds good. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. And I hope it was like not like I put you under a truck. Maybe I did, but it's okay. Thanks for thanks for being roadkill for this workshop. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Just a couple of last words. Thank you, Ambika, for facilitating this whole thing, and thank you, GUI, for doing this so quickly with us. For the rest of you, I'm going to send you some resources and the recording of this video and everything in probably tomorrow morning. So you guys can check that out. If you have any questions about GUI, then go drop a link on the Discord server. If you have any questions for us, for BeFantastic or Future Fantastic, just reply on the email thread. Thanks for having us, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.